We all know the pivotal role of nutrition and fueling during long or intense training sessions and races. One brand that stands out for its specialization in this area is Veloforte. In this review, I'll share my first-hand experiences with you and go over which products from Veloforte taste great and are suitable for where and when. It is important to note up front that this video is entirely unsponsored. I have an extremely modest subscriber count of 2,800. Without further delay though, let's dive into the realm of Veloforte, starting with their energy gels. Here they are. Some stats to start. They come in 5 different flavors, 2 of which include caffeine. Using a glucose-fructose blend, each gel has 22 grams of carbs in them. Finally, they come with 110 milligrams of electrolytes to keep those salt levels up. There are some advantages to these gels over others, and the first one is their size. They are a lot smaller than most other brands of gels, meaning you can fit more into your pocket for longer rides. Another thing that I think works well on these is the tear off. For some other brands, the tear off isn't always clean and you can end up opening the gel too much or not enough. But I find with the Veloforte ones, because of their small size, the tear offs work perfectly every single time. Something small, but when you're on the bike, it actually makes a difference. That's where the advantages end for the gels, because for me, they are my least favorite products from Veloforte. The reason being that it mainly comes down to the flavor. Because they've packed the gel down into such a small size, the flavors are intense. They don't taste bad by any means, but they are very strong in flavor. The times I find myself using these ones is earlier in longer, harder cycles. This is when they're easier to consume whilst working hard. I do find the further into a hard ride I get, the harder these are to consume as you have already had a lot of sugar. The intense flavors seem to make it harder to swallow as you get further on. If it wasn't for the hyper intense flavor, then these are a well balanced and sport orientated gel. What do we think? Then we get to the bars. These are some nice big ones that really help fill you up on longer rides. They have 6 different flavors ranging from 37 to 42 grams of carbs, and they have 5 to 10 grams of protein in them as well. And I like all of them. The Forza one does come with fennel, and I know that fennel isn't for everyone, but as I said, these really shine on longer rides where you aren't pushing as hard. They are something more substantial that you can eat with a really decent amount of carbohydrates in them. They also feel like you're eating real food because you are. The longer the rides get, the better these get, and I find I can quite happily have one of these an hour if needed without getting tired of them. If you have gloves on, you can also do the hit trick where you hit the end of the bar on your handlebars to push the bar through the wrapping. It's quite easy with these ones. Where I find these bars start to struggle is when you are really pushing hard. Because they're fairly hard and tough, you can't eat them when you're breathing heavy, or it would take a while to consume them anyway. So these are best saved for the longer, easier rides or for when you stop. Finally, we get to the chews. These are by far my favorite products from Veloforte, and maybe my favorite fueling product of all time. They come in 4 different flavors and they are all amazing. Each pack has 6 chews in it and it has 44 grams of carbs per pack, a really decent amount of carbohydrates. For me personally, there isn't actually any disadvantages of these chews to speak of. They taste incredible and I find I can use them for all types of rides. Long, easy, hard, doesn't matter. They're always easy to consume. I also like that you don't have to eat them all at once like a gel. You can come back to them or just snack on one every 10 minutes if you like. They are also powdered, so when you are hot and sweaty, your hands don't actually get sticky after touching them and eating them. The packet opens really easily with the tear tab. Maybe sometimes you tear the whole side off and it puts you at risk of dropping it, but from experience, this doesn't really happen that often. My favorite of the 4 flavors is the Fresco. This is a lemon and mint flavor. And the reason I like this one the most is when you're doing a really long and hard event, for example, the Mallorca 312 or an Ironman, and you're getting towards the latter stages of this event and your stomach starts to feel a bit sick just because you've had so much sugar. I find the lemon and mint flavor helps me reset this feeling a little bit. Doesn't do it fully, but if I find I just have a few of these, I can keep consuming the amount of carbohydrates the event requires. It's like a palate resetter. And to be honest, I can't think of any other products on the market that help with this specific situation. Those for me were their top 3 products, I would say, but they do have 3 other things that I think are worth a quick mention. Protein shakes is the first. In them, they have a pretty standard 20 grams of protein, and they make the shake feel nice and thick, so it feels like you're actually getting more substance in when you're having these. The flavors are not bad in my opinion, but they're not like amazing like the chews are. On the back, they also say what the protein content will be with different types of mixes. Small, but a neat little bit of information included. These do use a vegan pea-based protein, which is going to be a massive advantage for some people, but for other people, such as my partner, the pea protein doesn't actually sit well in her stomach, causing some light abdominal pain. For me personally though, it sits just fine. Another product is the oat snack bar. Once again, I think these taste really great in all flavors, but do seem to be more of a snack rather than something to be eaten whilst exercising. Then finally, they have the electrolyte powders that you mix into your water whilst riding. The flavors, once again, are really tasty with a good amount of electrolytes in them, but they do only come with 22 grams of carbohydrates in them. Great if you want a lighter carbohydrate mix, but I think if you're adding carbs to a drink, personally, a much higher amount is better. I like around the 80 gram mark in my drinks, and these are only a quarter of that size. For you though, this may be appropriate. What do you think? Well, like I said at the start, Veloforte are a brand that I really like, specifically the chews if you can't tell by now. With all natural ingredients which are made of actual food, I think they offer a cleaner product that is better executed than most. This does of course add to the cost, but it is really nice to eat when you're on the bike. What do you think, and what are some of your favorite products from Veloforte? If you have any questions, feel free to ask down below in the comments, or I'm also over here on Instagram. My name's Jason, this has been Cycling Unboxed. I'll see you in the next video.